Welcome to Agronomy Moment. I'm your host, Wendell Koehn. We bring in people who agree with me, disagree with me, and above all, are not afraid to say it like it is.
Welcome back, everybody, to Agronomy Moment. I'm here with Scott Dickey and Celena. You're joining me today. What was that?
I said start again because I was standing behind you.
Welcome back. We're here to talk about something that is standing out to us. Crops are looking pretty good, especially with the heat and everything we came through. But it's starting to be really obvious that harvest needs to be on our mind. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys as we talk about the next few weeks leading up to crop maturity. And I'll turn it over to you, Scott, and Celena. Tell us what we need to know.
Have your combines ready.
Yeah, I mean, in my role, I don't get into the field as much as I'd like, unfortunately, but to come out and look at things today and see how far along they are. We have beans that are into R5, past the R5 stage. They're not to R6 yet, obviously, but they are moving toward that stage. And we think in terms of the agronomics behind the speed of development of a soybean crop, we're going to be looking at harvest here before we know it in soybean, as well as corn, obviously.
Yeah, we're starting to see some corn denting and some of the corn that was first plant, early plant. So as well as the beans, the corn's going to be right on its tail, getting ready as well.
I know in areas just south of here, maybe an hour, there's corn that's already black layered in parts of southeast Kansas. So we're moving right along. I would predict that we're roughly 2 weeks ahead of where we normally would be on average this time of year. So that's getting our attention a little bit.
So help me understand, talk to us a little bit about soybeans. And they're so interesting to me because of how they mature and they use their photogenic, or whatever you call that.
Photoperiodic.
Photoperiodic.
Yeah.
And
actually, not photo, but night driven.
okay, I was going to actually make the clarification. What's the opposite of that? Because they're nighttime driven. So as nights get longer, but yet when we plant so early, are they actually doing what they need to do and they're not paying as much attention to that as later planted? Help us understand that a little bit.
Look at how early we flowered this year. You know, we had some March planted beans, April planted beans, and we were blooming over a month ahead of the summer solstice. And normally we think of summer solstice with the lengthening nights triggering reproductive development, and we're well past that this year, well ahead of that this year with flower starting. And so when you look at these beans now, they're just clicking along very rapidly.
So you're saying a soybean might look at it and say, you know what, I've done everything that I've set out to do for the maturity or whatever I am, and I'm ready to just finish.
Well, I'm looking up, I couldn't remember the number, so I looked it up, and the time from going from R5, which is beginning seed, to reach physiological maturity takes roughly 35 to 40 days. And so we hit R5 here last week, I'm going to guess, at some point. And you start putting that on a calendar, and we're into September here, not very far, and we're going to be looking at mature soybeans.
Another thing to be thinking about on your later planted soybeans would be your insect pressure that you're seeing. Out here we saw stink bug eggs. That's our main #1 pest, is from an insect standpoint that causes direct yield loss. So keep that in mind, keep scouting out there. I have seen some corn earworms, so I'd say it's just a matter of time before we see some podworm activity starting soybeans and those later planted beans. So have that top of mind too. Be ready to pull the trigger, make an insecticide pass.
I think that's a key thing, and reiterate the late planted beans. Where you had later planted beans, those would be the ones to watch for podworm. These beans approaching R5, mid R5 soon, they're going to be far enough along that podworms won't hit them as hard. So focusing on those double crop or late planted soybeans would be a key for any podworm activity, as well as the stink bugs as well. I think another thing, Wendell, since you're talking about that, is back on corn. We're talking about corn a little bit with southern rust starting to show up.
Yes.
Any late planted corn, replant corn would be the fields to focus on. A lot of this corn now that's reached the dent stage or further, the reason to treat for that has really fallen off. I mean, even with something like southern rust, or if the weather change and tar would start showing up here for whatever reason, you need to spray at this point on early planted corn is pretty well over. But any replant corn or very late planted corn would be something to keep an eye on as well.
Yes, I've been walking some fields and have definitely seen the southern that was several weeks ago, and we were just post-pollination at that point on some later May stuff. Southern had just started some pustules. They knocked it hard with Veltima.
You may go on southern rust up to R3, maybe R4-ish. Some of that, once you reach that R5, that dent stage, then your need to spray on the corn falls off.
A lot, One thing I was going to do real quick while we're here is Bex has Becknology Days coming up. You have one. Where's one? August 4 in Celena.
Next Tuesday, is that August 4th?
Celena,
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yep.
Effingham is the 7th.
Going to Nebraska is on the 6th.
On the 6th, and then Colfax is on the 11th. And our dealership and as our region is taking groups up to Colfax. On the 10th, we have a full bus, full transportation, nights, everything for you. Supplying that, and you're welcome to join us even if you do not buy Bex. This is for anyone that wants to join.
Absolutely.
And then I want to stump a little bit is as you go, and if you go, and as you go through this fall, pay attention to Seed IQ. There's a lot of data gives. Anything you'd like to touch on a little bit on what's behind that? What's behind Seed IQ? Like why is this different?
Scott.
To me, when I think about Seed IQ, it's the way we're thinking about managing our hybrids, thinking about new observations we've made in hybrids, whether it's related to root angle, whether it's related to silk timing,
Okay.
kernel development. We know that yield development in corn can occur one of two ways. One is through the count of the kernels on an ear, or sometimes it's due to the size of those kernels. And by having a little better data supporting that through our agronomist and product team observations, as well as using the equipment on our machinery to make those observations for us, we can be better tuned into helping every product be successful.
Okay.
You think about the hybrids in any company's lineup now, there's really no what I would call bad hybrids. It's just a matter of how do we manage those hybrids to maximize their potential. And I think we're getting into that a little better with Seed IQ than what we had in the past.
Yeah, we have like all those data points that not only is it the hybrid characterization, product characterization, right? But then you've got all the practical farm research.
Yep.
We have agronomists like Celena and Scott and all these guys in our regions have spoken into this engine, this AI engine, to put all this data together so we actually have personal opinions of people.
There's been so much data over all these years that goes unused because we haven't had the technology available to use it. Now with AI and its ability to crunch all that data so rapidly, it allows us to utilize the data that's available.
Yep, and it's going to continue to be fed in as new data comes in. It's going to continue to be fed into that to bring that together so quickly. So if you go to go to Colfax or any of the Becknology Day locations, there will be some Seed IQ talks, especially in their special tent, I think, for it.
Yes, sir.
Please attend that. It has so much to do with crop management going forward for your farm and how to understand what you're planting and how to manage it for its maximum capability.
Or matching the hybrid to the way you manage.
Or
It's either way. There's
vice
two ways
versa.
to look at it.
One way is to look at it in the fall and say, I could choose this hybrid for how I farm. And another way is if I have that hybrid, this is what we would just suggest you do, or this is how you would manage it to maximize it. So you can look at it two different ways. And it's in both is not wrong.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today. Thanks, Scott, Celena, for coming here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Wendell.
See ya.
So, what? I thought it turned out well.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
If you were Scott Dickey now, you would say something like, it's about time for lunch.
Guys,
What else?
starving.
You're starving?
Yes.
What would he call it, Selena? What does he say? Grub or something. He calls it something else. He doesn't say, let's go for lunch. He says, I don't know, ready for something. Call me.
Yeah, Scott, I don't.
You don't know what's going to come out.
Exactly.
But I wish he was here. We could have made a really nice roundtable discussion and
Hey, I got selected.
Field Agronomics of the Year.
No.
It's your turn again.
For wave one of the whiskey.
It's almost bean time.
So
I got splinters in my hand. I'm cutting
I'm
up.
sorry, what would you say?
It's almost bean time.
Does that mean
lunch,
eating?
yes.
Lunchtime? Yes, of course. Scott always brings up lunch.
Well, it's
And-
11:30. It's 12 almost.
Camera is still rolling.
No, it's not.
It is.
Oh,
It's been captured. Our tailgate talk that I was hoping to kind of get into. I kind of did that little move over there, like I was shutting it off, and I just kind of coming back.
Yeah, I got that splinter dissected out.